So I started reading the Bible, the New Testament, and I just fell in love with the person of Jesus. Like it was totally mind-blowing. Like the worldview, his worldview against like our normal worldview is so different, so counterintuitive, but it's actually so much better. I mean, like love for enemies, being humble. I never thought of like humility as something good. I mean, I thought about it like as a weakness more than as something good trait in humans. Привет, меня зовут Денис. Hi, my name is Dan. I mean, my name is Denis, but I go by Dan here. I was born and raised in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. Я из Ташкента. That's it. That's me. Yeah, I came here to get my PhD in physics. That's why I'm here.
How long have you been in the PhD program?
It's my third year.
Out of how many years?
Out of 5 years, probably, most likely.
Okay. I like asking as the first question, do you believe that Jesus is alive and active today?
Yeah, he's definitely active in my life. Yeah, I do believe.
Yeah. Why do you believe that?
Because he changed my life, my heart, and I've seen him moving in other people's lives, in my life. That's why I do believe that he's alive and active.
What stood out to you about physics?
When I was a kid, I found a book at our house that explains like day-to-day things, like just things in life with physics, and it was so fun to read about it that I just fell in love. I love that physics explains things that can seem very complicated. It kind of simplifies them and makes sense out of things.
Do you feel like your pursuit of physics had any play in you becoming a Christian?
Yeah, definitely. As I said, I most likely didn't become an atheist because of physics, and so I always believed in God. That was really huge. Plus, physics played like really important role in my teenage years when I was just drinking all the time, hanging out with friends, and probably physics was the only thing that kept me from just becoming a drunkard and, I don't know, go into that lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. In your PhD physics program, is there anything that stands out to you that you've learned or studied that just makes you go like, wow, this is awesome. Like, this looks like it's God.
Oh yeah, definitely. I remember, I mean, I've never was an atheist. And one of the main reasons is because at some point when you study physics, like at higher and higher levels, you just like the symmetry of equations, the beauty, how all complicated things just come together in this simple, very beautiful picture. It just doesn't make sense that it's just random. So I never believed that it just happened. I always thought that like there is some plan, there is a creator behind our universe, and this creator is very good at math.
Being in a PhD physics program, what school do you go to?
ASU, Arizona State University.
Do you feel like it's hard being a Christian in that community?
To be honest, not at all. Actually, a lot of students are from Pakistan, so they're Muslims. There are a lot of Indians and quite a few Christians. I think I met more Christians in PhD program than like just in any other casual setting.
Were you raised in a Christian? So you said you were from Uzbekistan.
Yeah, I'm from Uzbekistan. No, I was born and raised Muslim. So totally different community, totally different views. And actually I haven't met like Christians who I would say like go to church before I came here.
How did you come to believe in Jesus if you were born Muslim?
It's a long story. I love my parents. I loved growing up in Uzbekistan. My grandparents were pretty religious Muslims, but not my parents. So I used to go to like big prayers on very important holidays, but I was never like really into it, to be honest, and I never felt anything during those prayers and meetings. I read Quran a little bit, but also it didn't move anything in me. So I was sort of Muslim, but like more culturally than in my faith. I remember one of my memories, like that just stuck in my head from childhood when I was like probably 10 or something. My parents and my friend's parents had a fight. I remember my parents and his parents being friends before that fight, and they never like became friends again after the fight. And I was like, that felt so wrong. And I remember a teacher at school, like, she said something about like that situation and said, yeah, when you're kids, you just fight and then you're friends again. But when you're grown up, you shouldn't do that. And I was like, that felt really wrong. I don't know. Obviously, when I grew up, I also became the same. It started feeling normal to me. Being okay not to forgive people, plus being angry also. It didn't feel, wrong. Plus, I don't know, there wasn't anything special that would make me be part of them, unlike when I met Christians. So when I came here a couple of years ago, one of my roommate started, like, he met some people, Christians somewhere, and they started Bible study at our apartment. At first I didn't join them and didn't really want to. It was weird. They were like sharing about their days with strangers, and I was like, I don't want to share anything with strangers. But at some point, I remember the guy who was leading the Bible study, Josh, we started a conversation, just some random conversation, and I felt so weird about him because, like, not in a bad way, he was so joyful, so happy to share about Jesus, and just talk. I was like, are you high? It felt like he was just high all the time. It's like, that's weird, but I like how I like how it is. You know, after that day joined Bible study, I totally did not understand what is happening. Plus, after then switched to like Old Testament, and it got even more confusing. But at least I started like liking what was going on, and maybe first time in my life started maybe feeling that I want to be a part of that. Uh, then the Bible study stopped because some drama happened. It was classic. There was a girl at that Bible study, and multiple people started pursuing her. The Bible study ended, and me and my roommates had a fight. He just punched the wall and ran away from the apartment, from the room, I remember. I was super angry at him, and neither of us wanted to reconcile with each other. It's like I totally didn't care about me and mine and his relationship after. But some people from that Bible study were in the room, and they started praying. And while they were praying, I didn't pray. I just was in my head being angry. And at some point, while they were praying, just something changed. And I was like, okay, now I want to reconcile, and I think I know how to. And it was something I've never felt before. It's like, I was like, wow, I've never experienced anything like that before. The spirit, definitely. And yeah, I just felt like this power of prayer. And after that, that was probably the moment when I realized, yeah, God is actually real, and I want to follow Jesus.
What was your journey like becoming a Christian?
To be honest, at that point, I didn't even know a lot about Jesus because I didn't start reading the New Testament. But I started wanting. So I started reading the Bible, the New Testament, and I just fell in love with the person of Jesus. Like, it was totally mind-blowing. Like, his worldview against like our normal worldview is so different, so counterintuitive, but it's actually so much better. I mean, like love for enemies, being humble. I never thought of like humility as something good. I mean, I thought about it like as a weakness more than as something good trait in humans. And reading about Jesus totally changed my mind about that. And like love for people, forgiveness. And I remember when I started reading about like that forgiveness thing, I immediately remembered about like this fight in my childhood, and I was like, wow, if they were Christians, my teacher would never teach us things like, when you grow up, don't reconcile with other grown-ups. It's crazy that I had to like travel to the opposite side of the world to hear about Jesus. I mean, obviously I've heard about Jesus in Uzbekistan, but just he was a guy who walked on water and did some miracles. I never thought about Jesus as a God, and even more like as a like personal God. You can have relationship with Jesus. He's your friend. He's a teacher. Yeah. I remember I had a conversation like before I became Christian. The person, and she asked me, "Do you want to have a friend that will always love you and forgive you no matter what you do?" And I said, "No." It's like I want my friends to be direct with me, and if I mess up, I don't want my friends to like show love during for me when I'm totally messed up. And I had no idea that she was talking about Jesus at the time. And Jesus' love is actually, it's not just like love in a sense, oh, I feel I'm being nice. I mean, it's not just being nice to people.
Tough love.
Yeah, sort of tough love, yeah. And yeah, so now I'm happy that I have friends who always forgive me and stay friend no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy how just, I mean, it's basically just reading a book can change like life that much, that drastically. So it's like, it's impossible to not believe that there is power in this book. I mean Bible, obviously.
Was there anything that when you came into this interview that you wanted to share?
Yeah, definitely. It's like, first of all, for non-believers, it's like, you should try. If you don't like it, like, nothing bad will happen, but you definitely will. And for me personally, yeah, when I'm remembering my life, especially during teenage years, like all that partying all the time, I wasn't not happy. I don't think I ever was like depressed or something, but I was actually, I was not unhappy, but I wasn't happy either. I didn't know like what was wrong. I didn't even feel that I needed to fix anything, because it felt just normal, because everyone lived that way. Like, comparing to where I'm now, in Christian community, knowing Jesus, I totally don't want to be there in that life again. Just, the life is much more happy and enjoyable now than what it was then, and I didn't even realize that back then, because I thought I was like totally fine, more or less.
Is there anything else that you think that I should have asked you or that I missed?
Nothing comes to mind, to be honest, right now. Thank you for watching. Спасибо за просмотр.